Randy Bradbury from Pennywise joins me now ahead of a huge upcoming Aussie tour with Millencolin. Randy, first and foremost, how are you? It doesn't feel like all that long ago since you were last down under, but in case you can't tell, Australia's pretty excited you're coming back.
Well, thank you. I'm doing great. Nice to talk to you, Tiana. We're really looking forward to coming back down there, especially with Millencolin. It just feels like, I mean, they're such a great band and they have such great songs and they're cool guys. And we've never had a chance to really tour properly with them. So to do a co-headlining with them, uh, I was joking with someone, it seems like a power couple, like,
Yes,
and
perfectly put.
yeah, so it feels great, and hearing about the ticket sales, it just feels like that's exciting, knowing that these shows are going to be sold out and huge, and so yeah, really looking forward to coming back down for sure.
The power couple thing is perfect, and it blows my mind that the history that you two would have had in the scene, for lack of a better way to put it, just finally having this co-headline moment. And like you said, like the majority of these shows are sold out. There's guaranteed to be some incredible times ahead for the bands and fans alike. But without spoiling everything, given there are 12 albums in the mix, and let's just say way too much good music to choose from at this point for Pennywise, what is the vibe like set list wise for you guys at this point? Have you had the chat yet to plot the set list? And is it usually a diplomatic procedure?
Well, depends on what you call diplomatic, but yeah, no. So we want to always try to bring something new, and there's songs that we don't always play that we want to try to bring into the set. Obviously, you have your staples, but we've got a whole handful of songs that we've been working on, and yeah, that going trying to figure out what songs we're going to use and being diplomatic. Everyone has their favorites, and everyone has songs that they want to throw in there. So we just we try a lot of them, and so the ones that feel comfortable we do. So hopefully, and sometimes we will rehearse songs, and then when we get on stage, we decide not to play them. So so
I like
hopefully,
that.
yeah,
Spontaneity is the spice of life.
yeah. But we've got some good songs that feel good. So I think you'll be hearing some different stuff.
Yeah. And look, I guess every band's always going to have I don't want to say non negotiable again, because that sounds really strict and that's not really an essence of what this kind of music is. But let's have a look then, because you did say that everyone's going to have a few different favorites. Like during your recent shows, like last year, you were touring with Dropkick Murphys and you headlined Punk in the Park. What Pennywise song did you find yourself particularly enjoying playing live, regardless of how many times you played it in your most recent shows?
I feel like on those shows, playing the song "Same Old Story" was really because that's just got a, and so I could say this because I didn't play on that album. So I could say that I think that song is really great. It's got a great structure. It's simple. It's got a great message. It's really strong chorus, and it's super fun to play because I know that one feels like it sounds good and it really connects, with the audience. So that's I would say that one has
Mm.
was always good on those Dropkick shows.
This one is likely going to have an obvious answer. Is it still a trip to play songs that you wrote and released many moons ago, or from the band, obviously, even before your time, and just see an entire room in the present day singing it back and losing themselves just in that moment?
I I get caught up in the moment, like when the crowd is going crazy and you're performing the song, and to me, I feel I like the challenge of trying to play well and trying to play tight and trying to pay attention to what Byron's doing, what everyone's doing. And when all the gears are firing, smoothly and powerfully, and you got the crowd singing back, it's really it's like I don't know. I mean, I want to say exhilarating. I mean,
Mm.
it's just feels great and it always does. So that's what I try to achieve. Like when you're playing well, then the audience reacts. So yeah, and that's always challenging because
Mm.
you have to try to play well. You can't just go like, "Oh, I was good 20 years ago." No, you have to
Yeah.
try right now. So that's how it's, fresh and feels good and I don't get tired of playing the songs
Mm.
because I like all the songs. I liked we fight to to do songs that we like on the records. And then I liked the band before I got in it. So there's a whole lot of songs that I like, just built in. So it's still fun. I guess I'm fortunate that I feel that way.
It's incredible, and there's obviously no complacency going on there, which can obviously be a bit of a factor in not enjoying things. So I think it's really refreshing to hear that, especially in the creative side of things. It cannot always be the case. So I love to hear that. And looking ahead, well, looking back and then ahead, last time I saw you here was for Good Things Festival in 2023, and plenty of memorable Australian moments were obviously made then. But you have been here that many times. I feel like legally we're going to have to make you an Australian citizen with this tour, it feels like. But aside from that, can you share an Australian memory that instantly springs to mind from a previous visit, whether on stage or off, good, bad, or other? What instantly springs to mind as an Australian standout moment?
Well, I would say that the things that really stood out is when we used to come on the Warp Tour or on any tour, I think I mentioned this someone else, but we used to go surfing. We would go to every spot we'd go. There was a break like within a half an hour, and we used to go surfing and play, go surf for Burley Heads or things like that. And there's something you feel so good. Back then, that's like you feel so great when you get out of the water. You go surfing, surfing's fun, but then you get out of the water, you feel great. Now you're in this this country that is just so it's like home, but completely different. So it's comfortable. And then you're going to a show with like screaming fans all over the place. So I feel like, instead of just one moment, just those times when we'd come and surf and do a lot, and we hadn't been here too many times, so we hadn't seen the whole thing. We hadn't seen the whole country yet. So just remembering surfing, in Australia, which I don't do too much of anymore. So
Now, talking about Millencolin, I actually spoke to Mateus from the band earlier in the week, and we were chatting about how the bromance does stem back a fair way. Like, I think 95 was a year he threw out as a potential time you first officially crossed paths. But he shared an Australian moment because I know you haven't officially like toured side by side together, but he was talking about, I believe it was Soundwave. And just as your set was starting, you were playing Bro Hymn. He said that they finished their set by also playing Bro Hymn to try to steal some of your fans who might be leaving. Do you remember this moment? Can we collaborate this story?
I don't specifically remember that, but that has happened a lot. Like even on the Warp Tour, I think Blink 182 did that one time, and so I mean that song. There's just a magic to that, and I think I would like to see them do that on this tour. I think that'd
Hmm.
be fun. But I don't specifically remember, but I like to just think about myself. Why do I have
That's
to think about?
right. Well, and I think the fact that you were probably starting your set probably makes sense. Like you were just starting in that moment, whereas they were just winding down. So you would have been full business mode. It would have been a different mind frame in that moment.
Yeah,
And
yeah, you got.
maybe they just weren't playing loud enough. Maybe.
Maybe not. I don't know. But I was probably, yeah, focusing on something I was doing too. But
Very fair. Well, is there any other moment that springs to mind from a Millencolin, like just collision when you've been in the same room slash city slash country as them? Like, what kind of memories do we have that we're allowed to share in public?
well, I don't know. I just know that I mean they're I like their albums. Like we've played with them and ran across them on European festivals and stuff, but like I used to drink a lot too. So I don't remember like any specifics about that.
Fair.
But but I just think they're an amazing band with amazing songs. So Penny Bridge Pioneers is just such a great album. Life on a Plate, uh, great album. Those two are my favorite albums of theirs, and I've listened to them a lot. So
Yeah.
even without knowing that we were going to go on tour with them, and they're just always really cool guys. So,
Mm. Well,
and
they
but
had high praise for you as well, so I think it's going to be something very special.
very nice. Generally with Pennywise, Fletcher is a part of the memorable experiences that everyone comes across. So
Well, maybe sometimes it's good if people were drinking a bit and they don't remember it. That's also fine.
yeah, yeah, it's preferable. Because I remember taking my shirt off and talking about Long Beach back in the day.
Yep. That tracks. That tracks. It's definitely something we can picture. I don't know if this is the right time then to bring this up. Like here in Australia, we of course love a beer or two. And last year, you guys unleashed the Rad Beer collab West Coast Pale Ale, a beer I am yet to still get my hands on in Australia, but by all accounts, it lives up to the Pennywise name and repping the West Coast perfectly. But what's your take on Australian beers? Like, obviously, America and Australia, quite different beers. Is there a go to for the band or you personally when you are here?
Well, when we first would come out in the 90s, we'd just like drink a VB. I liked VB. I didn't like what is it for
4X.
I didn't like 4X. I liked VB, and then I liked uh what's the one that Cooper's.
Oh, yeah.
Cooper's became one that I enjoyed. I think the Cooper's in the green label.
Excellent
And
choice.
then at some point got a hold of some little creatures. I
Hmm.
think there's little creatures Pilsner that I liked. So the Cooper's Ale and little creatures and VB was great for years because that's when we were, surfing. You get back in the van, you're drinking a VB and stuff. But yeah, there is a lot of beer culture going on in Australia and so yeah, that was and there but there wasn't a lot of micro brews, like the little creatures and things like that. But now I think you could get those everywhere, that's like it's kind of caught on.
Well, to finish us off today, as a longtime fixture and pioneer in the punk scene and its surrounds, you obviously have been part of a band who has influenced a legion of bands and continue to do so. Not to mince words, people have said you are one of the most influential bands of all time, but you're still going strong. I would love to know for you personally, though, right at the start of your musical journey, who was the equivalent band or bands plural in your early days that kind of were a significant driving force into spurring you to pursue music and ultimately lead to this amazing musical journey?
Yeah, for me it was like The Damned were my favorite band. So The Damned had, they were huge influence on me. Um, as time went on, there was, you end up finding new bands that kind of take their place. I when I heard Bad Religion Suffer, I was like, oh my God, this is the best thing ever. Suffer and No Control. And then and I just thought that was great. There was other bands like there was along the way there's been quite a few bands. I really obviously I'm into music. But then when I heard Pennywise, that was one of those bands I was like, wow, this sounds like Bad Religion, but it's not. And so, but if to go to your question, one of the first ones that it was very influential was The Damned.
Mm. Yep. Perfect. And I love too that Pennywise was in there too, because what's a better thing than to be in the band that also was a part inspiration for you back in the day as well. And here we are, 2025, back in Australia for the 100th, not actually, but close to it time. Well, Randy, it's an honor to have Pennywise back here in 2025. We cannot wait to see the beautiful mayhem that you and Millencolin will be bringing down under later this month. Travel safe and thank you for your time today.
Well, looking forward to coming and thank you. Nice talking to you.
You too.